We're now joined by Jon Gaines II. He is an offensive lineman from UCLA. Jon, thanks for your time with Paul, Craig, and David. We just had an NFL scouting director, a guy that does this for a living. We mentioned you. He really likes the fact you've played multiple positions on the offensive line. Is that one of your strengths going into this draft?
Yeah, definitely. First and foremost, thank you so much for having me. But throughout this process, I've really tried to show my versatility. Like you said, I've actually started at 4 positions in my time here at UCLA, and it's something I'm really grateful for. I know I can add a lot of depth and a lot of value anywhere I'm on the field, and I know I'm really ready to contribute anywhere.
Jon, where have they told you they want you to play, or is that one of the things that maybe it depends on the team that you go to?
Yeah, I think it's really dependent on the team, but I showed really good plays at all the positions I played at. So for me, it's just I know I'm definitely going to be an interior guy at the next level, but either center or guard, depending on who you talk to and on the day. But I know I can play both at a high level.
Jon, what was it like to play for Chip Kelly and just be out there in Westwood for playing for the Bruins? I mean, it's a unique school, great academics. We know all about that. But just from your personal experience, what was that like? And as I mentioned, playing for a guy like Chip Kelly along the way.
Yeah, it was a blessing. UCLA was a great choice for me. Having that combination of academics and athletics at the highest level was great. And then I was Coach Kelly's first recruiting class here at UCLA. And I just think the element of professionalism he brought every single day in my 5 years here, it was always about getting better day by day, not making things better than they need to be, and then handling the process. And that's something that really speaks volumes to, how I've approached this pre-draft process, is taking it day by day. I'm really grateful for him, all the knowledge he shared with me, all the different schemes we ran while we were here. And just I feel really well equipped for the next level.
Jon, you're not going to be a part of the move, but obviously UCLA moves into the Big Ten in a couple of years. How much of that conversation has been within the football program?
Same thing like I was talking about with Coach Kelly, not trying to make things bigger than they are. We have no control over it, players. And honestly, whoever you put in front of us and whoever you put in front of those guys, they're going to play hard. And I'm just excited to see my boys ball out in a couple of years. So.
Jon Gaines II, football player, offensive lineman from UCLA, with us on 365 Sports.
Jon, what has it been like to see the renaissance of UCLA football as a player and now as a fan over the last couple of years?
Yeah, it's really cool. I came in, we went 3-9 my freshman year, and then being able to help be part of that transformation of the team, which is great. The Rose Bowl's always been a packed stadium that's lively. We see 100,000. You're never really going to get 100,000 at a game in the middle of Saturday in LA, but those who show up have great energy every single time, and nothing like a night game at the Rose Bowl. It's just a great experience. Seeing so many great players come in, so many people that I grew up with and came here with, go into the league. I'm going to be next in line with that, and just being able to see all my teammates and my boys balling out. It's a great feeling.
So you finish up your career at a great institution and out there in L.A., and now who knows where you go, but we know that you're going somewhere. When did this dream of playing in the NFL really begin for you? And I guess in line with that, Jon, is where did just kind of the football dream and getting into playing the game and having that love for the game, where did all that sort of start for you and get to where you are right now?
Yeah, my love of football started really early. So it was actually in elementary school. I went to Underwood Elementary. I'm going back when I go back for the week of the draft. But we used to play this thing called Kimmel football. Mr. Kimmel was a fifth grade science teacher. And when I was in third grade, it was third through fifth grade, that was out at lunch. We used to be out there. We had this giant field. He was a big, buff teacher. He's the all-time quarterback. But as long as I've been playing football since then, it's just been a dream of mine to play at the highest level. It's always been something that brings a lot of fun to me. I've played on a lot of different teams and made lifelong friends to it. So I'm forever grateful for the game of football.
Jon Gaines II with us. So give everybody the story of the tattoo underneath your left bicep.
Yes, sir. So it says "That's Life." The end of my freshman year, I went home for Christmas, and my father sat me down. He let me know that he was diagnosed with kidney cancer. He's going to have to get both kidneys removed. Obviously I broke down in tears, but what he told me is, that's life. I have to handle my responsibility. I'm still going to be present. I'm still got to make sure the bills are paid, things like that. And for me, it's just a matter of putting things in perspective. My entire career, my dad was going through dialysis 3 times a week. So he only came out for the UFC games that entire time. He's just recently is a kidney cancer survivor. Got a kidney transplant right before this last season. So it's a blessing, but it put everything in perspective for me. My parents are going through so much. They've always been so supportive of me. And at the end of the day, it's about me representing them the best I can.
So when you heard the news about a donor match, because that's not something that's just automatic. It's not like going to get, something that's a store. What was that emotion like for you and for the family?
Yeah, it was a years long process. It was throughout my entire career, like I'm saying before, but just it was crazy because my dad got let known he was cancer free, and then about a week later he was told he was cancer free, and then he would be on the donor list finally. And it was really fast, actually. About a week later, he got the call. Like, all right, we got a kidney for you. You got to come to UW-Madison Hospital. Coach Kelly sent me home, actually, when my dad got his kidneys removed during my freshman year, right before spring ball. And it was kind of full circle because first week of fall camp was when my dad got that call, and they sent me on the first plane back, too. Just being able to be with my dad at that pivotal point in life is crazy. It's a whirlwind of emotions, obviously. I don't even think we really processed it till I'd probably say the end of the season. Just being able to really sit down and think about the fact that it's such a blessing,
Not a great story. That's a great story. You had to deal with it as a freshman and also throughout, and glad everything has worked out.
John, I don't mean to drop down to something that's completely not serious at all, but you're a Wisconsin guy, and then you moved to Los Angeles. What is it like now to go back and visit in reverse? Do you think, oh my gosh, the weather here is crazy, or do you just cherish your time in the weather in LA, which doesn't make any sense?
Yeah, I always talk to my mom about the weather back in Wisconsin. It's always a funny thing. I'll be like, oh, it's 75 right here. She's like, oh, it's snowing. And I'm really blessed to grow up the way I did. Wisconsin's all I've ever known. I was born in Atlanta, but we moved down to Wisconsin when I was 3 months old. So I'm a Midwestern kid at heart. Especially when it's raining out here. People can't drive in LA when it's 75 and sunny, so just imagine what it's like when it's raining. So, I've driven in all the elements. I've shoveled snow. That was one thing my dad always made sure I did, making sure I shoveled snow for my mom before we got home. And then just, at the end of the day, like, I'm really accustomed to any conditions. We don't wear sleeves at UCLA, or I didn't wear sleeves as an offensive lineman. And that's something that came from playing in high school in Wisconsin. My last high school game, it was like -10, and nobody was wearing sleeves. It's just the way we were brought up, and that never left. I'm very thankful to be where I am, but I'm happy to play anywhere. At the end of the day, put the ball in the dirt.
I'd imagine that UCLA and USC will be looking for a lot of Wisconsin offensive linemen used to the cold, given who they're going to be playing here in the future, playing Wisconsin and Michigan and Minnesota and all those schools. What are your thoughts as a guy who obviously isn't going to be affected by it, but you played Pac-12 football? What are your thoughts, being from Big Ten country as well, on how the LA schools are going to fit in?
Honestly, I just know UCLA is going to run the ball, and I think it's great to be in a conference like that. I'm not really going to speak on USC. It's not my forte, and I probably don't have much good to say anyway. But
I understand.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think they're going to be fine. I think they're going to thrive. Pac-12 football always has a weird aura about it from the outside world looking in. But I mean, I'm 1-0 against the SEC. That's all I know. And if you play big time football, you get big time players that go out and play hard. Doesn't really matter where you come from.
Jon Gaines II, where will you be on draft day?
Be back in Wauwatosa, Wisconsin.
All right. Well, and around family, friends, and whatever else. I saw a little video clip. I watched some things of when you were at practice, a little bit about your life. That's where I heard and saw the story about your father and the kidney, the kidney removal, and also then a donor replacement. You are obviously a great communicator. How much does that help you, and how much and how important is that on the offensive line?
I'd say it's probably first and foremost the biggest thing for us, especially at UCLA. We have a lot of calls, a lot of communication, and then being able to cut it down where you can see an image and you know exactly what you need to say, where you can be rapid fire with it. When everybody's on the same page, regardless if it's going wrong, we can make something good happen. So communication is always going to really be factor to playing here at UCLA, and it's something I really pride myself on. I really pride myself on knowing that my teammates can count on me, and them knowing that they can come to me if they need something, and that's on and off the field. So it's a really big, valuable asset, and I love to be able to bring that every single play.
What is your hobby outside of football? What is something you like to do? I know video games, whatever for some, but what is something that Jon Gaines does to get away from the game?
Biggest thing for me is just cooking. So, getting my mind right. So Thursdays were our off days, or our walkthrough days during the weeks. And, I usually try to make some cool, elaborate recipe. And then during the off season, of course, I'm going and buying these weird ingredients, kind of make stuff from scratch. It's just something that allows me to. I think it's just being really technical and really, having that attention to detail just in a different way. It's really something interesting to me. So.
All right. So when we come to Shea Gaines, the restaurant, what do we? What's the specialty?
I've watched a lot of. There's a big YouTube channel called Eater, and they talk a lot about like open fire cooking and like dry aged steaks and stuff like that. I think steakhouses always have a cool vibe to them, so that'd be definitely something cool that I want to look into. And I'm definitely gonna buy a dry aged fridge at some point in my life. So,
there you go.
We'll see.
Would you like to, once you get drafted, and you will, and maybe get a nice bonus? Any chance that if you ever get a chance to get a break, you go to a culinary school?
I was thinking, maybe at the end of my career, win a couple Super Bowls, be able to go work and be really attentive to detail on something else. I think it's really something cool and admirable about that. And then maybe I'll just go the route of just franchising restaurants. Either way, I just want to be around food. I think food is an expression of love. My grandfather, my papa, he taught me that. He was a chef in the Army for 20 years. So that's always how we got together. It was always big family gatherings around food. And, for me, the biggest expression of love is cooking a beautiful plate for somebody. So, yeah.
Have you watched the Food Network or these other shows where there's competition and, like you're on a 30-minute clock, like Top Chef or whatever it is?
Chop?
Chop.
Yeah.
What do you think is more pressure, taking on an edge rusher or someone who's trying to get to the quarterback, or in one of those competition shows?
Definitely anything where you're under intense pressure, I'd say taking on a sack. But, at the end of the day, it's about being prepared for the moment. And I think that's the thing, it's mastery of your craft. You see a lot of those chefs don't look like they're stressed and they're cool under pressure because that's what they do on a day-to-day basis, is looking to challenge yourself. And you know that you belong to be in that moment in the first place. And that's the same thing with being on the football field, right? Of course, you do feel a little bit of pressure, a little nervous because you care. At the end of the day, that's all it is. You care. But if you've done everything up to that moment to be prepared, there's nothing to be worried about because you're going to get the end result you want if you put in the work that's worth it.
Luck is when preparation meets opportunity. That doesn't mean you have to be lucky, but that's always something that I've tried to say. Give us something about yourself, and we'll let you go. Thanks for your time today. Give us something about you that maybe people don't know, unless they are absolutely among your inner circle.
Yeah, I'm not big on social media, but my girlfriend and I have 4 cats. They're all named after Marvel or Star Wars characters. I'm a big nerd, so there's actually one sitting next to me right now. She's asleep, but I have 4 cats. Love them to death. Yeah.
What are the names?
Mace, Finn, Thor, and Loki.
Mace, Finn, Thor, and Loki. Okay.
There you go.
Yeah.
What kind of cat? Are they Siamese cats, or are they just big old teddy?
Nah, they're all adopted. They're all domestic short hairs. One's a tortie. One has a little poofy tail, so maybe a long hair, and then the other 2 are just little short hairs. So yeah.
Man, when they get out, they start purring against you. That's awesome, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. It's awesome.
One thing about cats, that I had cats all throughout most of my life, is that they don't care whether you give them attention, but when they want attention, you better give it to them.
Oh,
right?
yeah. That's the first one we got. His name's Mace, the little black cat. His favorite thing to do is put him lay directly on top of your chest because he's like, I need attention now. So,
Yep. Hey, Jon, it's been great to get you on the show, also to hear about you, learn from you, get to know a lot about you, and we appreciate your time, and the best of luck a week from Thursday and throughout the NFL draft, and whatever you do, wherever you go. I got a feeling you're going to have a lot of success. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Jon Gaines II, former UCLA offensive lineman, and even what John Cooper said.